Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome into the St. Johns County Show that's on in the afternoon. I am very much looking forward to today's show. We talk, as lots of St. Johns County does, a lot about boards like the Anastasia Mosquito Control Board.
I know, yes.
I mean, it seems like we've been talking about the Mosquito Control Board at least once a month.
True story, yeah.
And they never seem to be good stories.
No,
you know?
Just like, yeah, a lot of
very recently, we mentioned that Commissioner Martha Gleason had stepped down because of, she just saw so many problems in this board and nobody was addressing this. There seemed to be no accountability. I'll let you tell her and I'll let her tell you in her own words here in just a couple of minutes, but very excited to talk to her about what the heck is going on out there. At the Anastasia Mosquito Control Board. So we're going to have that conversation
for what she believes
soon.
in, which I think that's amazing.
Yeah, man. And so we will talk to her very, very soon and try and figure that out. We will also, of course, get you caught up to date with your events. And we'll give you a couple chuckles before you get out of here.
That's
hopefully.
Yeah,
we'll do our best. We'll start by telling you about our great friends at Bozard Ford Lincoln. Been the best in the business since 1949. They're more than just a dealership. They're a family-owned beacon of trust right here in St. Augustine. Honesty, integrity, community service, that's what they were built on, and those traditions continue to thrive through this very day. They've got an amazing service facility, a great sales staff. They're always winning awards, Triple Crown Award, the Dealer of the Year from Dealer Rater, always winning these things. They offer the best in pricing, selection, and service just off I-95 and State Road 16. Where your satisfaction is their mission, and they are driven to inspire. Also, our friends at the Bailey Group. Getting enrolled in a health insurance or Medicare plan does not have to be complicated. It should be quite the opposite. At the Bailey Group, you're going to work with a local insurance advisor to help you find just the right insurance coverage for your specific needs and your budget. Their goal is making getting covered simple, no added costs, no extra fees. The Bailey Group handles individual health and Medicare, corporate benefits, and financial needs for their clients. Let them do that for you. Sit down with them, have a nice consultation. 904-461-1800. All right. Joining us this afternoon, very happy to have with us, I guess now former Commissioner Martha Gleason.
Right. Yeah.
Commissioner, how are you? Thank you for joining us.
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's kind of start at the beginning. What initially drew you to running for Mosquito Control Board?
Well, I've always wanted to serve the community in some fashion or other. Never thought it would be politics.
Yeah.
Didn't even think mosquito control was politics, to be honest with you.
Yeah, me neither.
Until I got into it, and then I'm like, oh my God. What a shocker. But really what drove me to it was an article I read in 21, which talked about this mosquito museum.
Oh, my goodness. Yeah.
And in my head, the logic part of my head said, well, shouldn't that have been a referendum item? Is taxpayer dollars paying for this?
Yeah.
And the more I asked, the answer I got was, well, these are local districts independent from the county that can tax us, and they do. Their millage is on our tax bill every year. They don't have to take this to the citizens. They don't have to take these types of capital projects and have the citizens vote on it. They can just do whatever they need to do with our tax dollars. And that kind of just sad. It was just like, wait a minute, the county, when they want to, pass a sales tax, they put it on the referendum ballot, whether we like it or not. We get to vote on it.
Right.
When there's going to be some sort of millage increase, we know about it, and people get to go to the county board and either pose, support or opposition to that. Never heard about that with mosquito control. And the more I dug was in 2014, the millage rate was 0.0014. It's like 14 cents per 100,000 or $1,000 of property taxes. By the time I came on the board, it was 0.20. It had been doubled to 0.24. And the more I dug, they did that solely for the purposes of building that museum and then building what it's termed a sterile insect technique laboratory, which is even more expensive than that museum. By the way, currently there is no expertise at the district to run that lab.
Really? So what?
The one person that was going to have the expertise finally said, sayonara, I'm out of here.
Really?
Are they actively looking for somebody?
Oh, so they decided that they were going to partner through, an agreement with a company called Mosquito Made in exchange for them giving them sterile mosquitoes, they were giving them basically housing in the lab. So I call it a very expensive rental agreement.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
So, and that's right now my estimate. It's going to cost us anywhere approximately $8 million, if not more. The Mosquito Museum is at 4.5.
So we built these things with nobody to staff them.
Yep.
Nobody really locally who could staff them. And now we're hiring, I assume, we're paying an outside company in some form or fashion.
I do want to go back. We do have a very good, so this is my problem that I have with this whole structure of this specific district is we do have a very talented group of scientists on staff, and we have very talented technicians that go out and, sample
Of course, yeah.
larvae and spray. But the folks that were going to man that facility, the sterile insect technique, do not have the expertise and sit right now.
Yeah.
And my concern is there's 13 of these districts statewide. We have 67 counties. The rest are either our mosquito control is offered either by the county, or there's another term called dependent districts, which is a little bit closer coordination with the counties.
Got it. Okay.
The 13 that are independent, we're number 2. We're the second largest. The first largest is Lee County. And it feels like we're in a competition of who can get the most helicopters, the better labs, to the point that the director of the district and some of the board members are so happy that they want to be world renowned
For mosquito control.
I'm like,
It's like,
we
let's
are
just
a
do the job well.
county.
Right.
Yeah.
The state does mosquito control. They have excellent entomologists, expertise. We use the University of Florida, which is if not the largest, the second largest entomology group in the world, who does this study mosquitoes and the viruses that they can spread is their expertise. Do we need to have research at the county level? Can we just have surveillance and treatment? Does it have to be independent?
Right.
They currently collect about $8 million a year from us. They are sitting on $11 million in reserves.
Whoa.
Why? They don't need that kind of money.
Right. Yeah.
So, one of my suppositions is, so I came in to try to, for me, figure, hey, maybe I can corral this mosquito museum, thinking it was just the museum, and get some, hopefully, influence the board to let's rein this in.
Because the public pushed back on this from day one. And it seemed like the board didn't listen at all. They didn't care at all. They were going to build this thing.
And that's the problem with independent districts. You can yell at them all you want. The only control you have, honestly, is at the ballot box. But with this past election that we just went through, the 2 people that were up for re-election, not one of them campaigned. And why not? Because those are considered ABC races, and I don't know if you know what that means. If I have a last name that's at the top of the ballot,
right, you're just going to win that because people are going to Christmas tree it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't know anything about this. I'm just going to vote for the person who's at the top of the ballot,
right.
And they're nonpartisan, so you don't know if they're Republicans or Democrats. They're obviously not campaigning, so
you don't know anything
I don't know
about
what.
them.
If they even know how to spell mosquito control. And I can tell you from being close to 2.5 years on that board, not a single one, and this is not an insult, this is actual, can read a financial statement.
Now that's scary, especially with all the money that they're taking.
And that
in.
is their number one accountability, financial oversight. They don't know how to read the millage calculation report. I was trying to explain to them last year when they were trying to keep the millage flat. Oh, we're keeping it flat. I said, you do understand that's after 2020, what happened to property values? Skyrocketed.
Yeah.
What happened to construction, home development? Skyrocketed. We didn't have to do one thing, and we were growing our revenue just because property values went up and we had more homes to tax.
Sure.
And literally I got this like deer in the headlights look. So I was like, okay, I had $100 last year and I taxed that. I said, I got 10%, I got $10. But this year, all of a sudden I have 200 and I keep my tax at 10%. Now I got 20.
Right.
You're not keeping anything flat.
Nothing.
Yeah.
You actually increase taxes. So I did the calculation for them. At that point, I thought we should have brought the millage down to under 16 cents per, I think it's 100,000. They fought me. They said, okay, fine, we'll go down to 16. In October, the CFO goes, oh, you know what? We just got the final numbers. You were right. We should have actually reduced the millage even more because we're going to generate another profit next year.
And what do they need to spend all that money on?
They're saying staff in case of emergency, in case we have a hurricane and we have to go spray. And I'm going to tell you, in case of emergency, when hurricanes come and the state declares a state of emergency, you get funding from the state and you get funding from the federal government. It doesn't have to come from the taxpayers of St. Johns County. We have been sitting at $11 million now since I've been there. That number's continuing to creep up. I finally did get past a investment policy after like 6 months of getting beat up. You don't trust the administration? I said, no, I don't trust my money being in one bucket and having people willy-nilly moving money around without the board's knowledge.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
Yeah, who apparently can't read a financial statement, who really don't know what to do with the money. And so it's my understanding, because like I said, I've talked to members of the Mosquito Control Board before, and people who tried to kind of give me rationale for the Mosquito Museum.
Education.
Is it right? Yeah, because that's what I would have been so engaged with that as a kid, going to a mosquito museum, right?
Yeah.
But that's kind of beyond the point. But is there a certain amount of time when you have to spend this money? Is there a certain amount of time where it's like, okay, we've had this money for 8 years now. We're legally not allowed to have it for 9 years. We have to spend it in this 8th year. Is there anything like that you know of?
No, not that I know of. And
because that's what I was told. That they basically had to spend. Well, you could probably guess it if I gave you a few guesses, but
I can tell you who probably said those things. The reason they told you that is because Tallahassee pays attention to your reserve levels. Okay. They don't want you sitting on money just for the heck of it. But here's a little tidbit, and there's a tape that I will want you to listen to, video, where I started asking one, it was 24, I'm looking at these budget amendments. And the budget amendments is a form that we have to send to Tallahassee every month. When you start making money, like profits, you have a couple of places where you can put that money. You can, if you need it for operating expenses, you could put it on those budget line items, but you have to make neutral. You have this money, so you have to basically zero it, zero out the
Makes sense, yeah.
So I'm like, we're like now, I think it was May or March, and I'm going, they were putting monies in training, they were putting money in travel. And I started asking the question, I said, are we going to use this money by the end of the fiscal year? Do we really need this? And the answer, no kidding, I use another word, but I'm on the air, was, and this came straight from the mouth of the CFO, if we don't put it in the expense line items, basically I'm padding the expenses.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to put it in the reserves, and Tallahassee's going to start paying attention to us.
So they were really just, it sounds like from what you're describing, I mean, they were really just trying to hide the money from Tallahassee.
And exactly. Now, when I came on board, the museum, they kept arguing, it's not a museum, it's really a technical training center. And for me, and one of them trying to explain it to me as, we need more technicians than we do. We need, we lose, our folks are very competitive because, you have the bug outs and the folks that need pesticide folks. And you're training, they're highly trained. They even have higher certifications. Wow. So they're in high demand, not only from other counties, but from private industry. So you always want to, I call it, have a training pool of those folks that you can, move through your system. That's what I was told. When I walked in there, it is a gorgeous little museum.
Mm-hmm.
Over $1 million spent. Part of it was one of the engineers for Disney worked on it.
Really?
Okay.
Did we need an engineer from Disney to build our mosquito shrine?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I have grandkids. I said, okay, fine, I'll take the grandkids in.
Okay.
Guess what they ran to? The first thing they ran to, and the one thing in that museum that gets the kids lined up, they have a flight simulator for the helicopter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be the one thing to run to. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking to myself,
Jeez.
in today's day and age, and you folks know this, with the internet, with all this all the stuff that we have out there is such an easy way of training our children or educating our kids. By the way, education is the purview of the school system. We're supposed to be surveilling and mitigating spread of disease.
Yeah.
But all that training they used to go to the schools and tell kids the importance of, emptying out that, that empty pot and make sure there's no standing water.
Mm.
Do you think it took me 40 minutes just to get here?
Mm.
It's a little longer drive to get to Mosquito Museum.
Yeah.
If I have to go down 95, and my brethren will disagree with me, and I have a choice between the mouse and the Mosquito Museum, what do you think I'm
You're
going?
going to go with the mouse. Right?
Yeah. Even as expensive as it is, because I mean, who's, and this is part of everybody's complaint. Nobody's going to the Mosquito Museum.
They will claim now that they had 100,000 visitors since they opened in March.
Way.
There's
So I will tell you that those numbers are sandbagged. And the reason for
Has
it
to be.
is in March of every year, actually, it's happening at the end of this month, they have an arbovirus conference at the district, and they get about 300 to 400 people that come through that. They get walked
Counted.
through that
Yeah.
museum and
Yeah.
counted.
It sounds like they're counting the employees who walk through the door every day as one
Anybody
individual
that visits
person.
St. Augustine and like a visitor to St. Augustine or to the outlet malls that on a rainy day that wants to get the heck out of the heat and is told there's a mosquito museum down there, go look at it, they will go. But I'm telling you, the majority of the residents, if they actually did a honest survey, the majority of the St. Johns County residents who built this, it was their money, it was for their education, are not driving. You guys know the population in the county is really northwest and northeast of St. Augustine.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's driving 40 minutes.
Right.
Or at least the majority are not, I should say nobody, the majority are not driving 40 minutes to take their kids.
Right.
The Mosquito Museum, when it opens on Wednesdays, it does open Saturdays and Sundays, but during the week, what happens? Parents work. And on the weekends, you got the chores.
Yeah.
And unless your kids are driving you out of your living mind, you're not saying the first thing out of your head is, let's go take the kids.
Well, that's got to be a
Mosquito
hard
Museum.
sell for kids, too. I mean, come on, kids, you want to go to the Mosquito Museum?
Yeah,
no kid is going to be jumping up and down to go to a mosquito
exactly.
museum.
I would ask if they have air conditioning. Like,
Well, they do. They have air
Perfect.
conditioning, and in the middle of the summer, perfect place to get away. And so, I am not anti-science. And by the way, I've been painted as that. I'm anti-science because I don't believe in the museum.
Well, of course.
Anti-education. I just haven't. Just a little of my background. I was born in Cuba, raised in New York, 2 parents, worked 2 jobs to get me into a private school just because the school system sucked.
Yeah.
Made sure I got an education, and they believed in education, but they also believed not being stupid. So, and as you can tell, I don't hold back on my opinions, which is probably what
That's
they don't
good.
like about
no,
me.
we don't, and we don't mind that. That's what we do here. We don't hold back
It's
our
honest,
opinions.
and
here.
I think this is a really, you're bringing a light and a perspective. I mean, we live in the day age right now where Doge is a big thing, and they're looking at efficiencies. And this, to me, as a local, this is red flag on the play. I mean, are we really appropriating these funds right?
Well, it's funny that you should say that. Yesterday, I sent a letter to the governor's Doge team.
Oh well,
explaining exactly that. I said,
really.
I said they probably could. These districts got created in 1925. The first one was Indian River, and you honestly, literally cannot live in Florida without mosquito control. And they do spread disease, so it is a health hazard.
Mm-hmm.
However, it is time. We're past the time for somebody to sit down with a nice, clean piece of paper and saying, "Is this the best way we deliver these services? Should research be centralized? Because that's expensive. And then disseminate it out to the counties. What should be at the county level? And how should citizens be taxed for these services? Having independent districts from the counties, because the enabling statute that created these districts is Chapter 388, if you ever are bored and want to read what we're charged with. That chapter needs to be revisited. It is an old chapter, and like every law, it gets patched, over the years, and after a while, you're like, why did you do that? Why didn't you just say, hey, blow it up and start with something new?
right.
You're saying, I mean, at this point, so many of those corrections and amendments, and it's just convoluted and it doesn't make sense. It's time to wipe it out and start from scratch.
And the worst part is that these 13 districts belong to what's called the Florida Mosquito Control Association. And they lobby to keep these districts up. So, and then this last year and then this year, they forced the districts to get their own lobbyists. So last year we paid $100,000 for lobbyists so they wouldn't blow us up. And now they're up there again lobbying to not blow us up. Nobody's lobbying on behalf of the citizens to say, hey, does this make sense?
Well, you are.
Well, I'm it.
Yeah.
And, hopefully I'm not the only one. And before you even ask the question, because a reporter asked me this question. So are you doing this for future political aspirations?
That doesn't sound like that.
Doesn't sound like you at
I
all.
wouldn't have even asked that question.
One and done.
Yeah.
I did campaign. I busted 609 square miles in St. Johns County. I got to know all of them. I don't think any of my brethren can say that. But I felt that people needed to know where I stood and why I was running and what I thought needed to be fixed. When I came on that board, not a single one of our board videos was on our website. That's important because the minutes are watered down so they don't say anything. I'm embarrassed to see half our videos because most of that board doesn't ask a question. It's a rubber stamp board.
And the tough part is nobody, and I don't know if those videos are up and available now, but unfortunately, a board that is really so critical to quality of life in St. Johns County, and it's something that nobody pays any attention to. We just assume the people up there know what they're doing or have some sort of idea what they're doing. Yeah. And just from what I'm hearing, it's just there's not much responsibility. There's not much accountability, according to what you're saying here.
And it's more than just the museum and the lab. We have spending on travel on a taxpayer dime.
I saw that.
They approved 3 commissioners going to Puerto Rico at the height of the tourist season. They stayed at the Sheraton Resort and Casino.
Studying mosquitoes?
Well, it was put on by the American Mosquito Control Association. The excuse was they were getting educated. I'm like, I looked at the program. It is a highly technical program. So if you ever been to, I don't know if you ever been to a pharma conference, it's researchers, entomologists, people that are living and breathing the research. You have board members that can't even read a financial statement. Going to a very highly technical scientific conference. And if you look on my Facebook page, I give you a little flyer that they send and on what to bring, what not to forget to bring. Your sunglasses, your sunscreen, your bathing suit.
Yeah, it sounds like a very nice vacation.
In January,
It sounds like the nicest vacation I've ever taken.
On taxpayer dollar.
Right.
Meanwhile, half our citizen, if not more, are trying to figure out how to pay their rent.
Right.
And or the ones that have homes that we're taxing. How do I stay in my house?
Yeah. Yeah. Did you get pushback at all when you raised concerns about these
Yeah,
things?
just look at the January tape.
Okay.
Really?
I got attacked. I literally got attacked.
For pretty much just saying we should be more responsible with our money.
Yeah. And I didn't say nobody should go. I said it is bad optics to send 3 commissioners. By the way, we sent 3 commissioners and 2 technical people. I'm like, that ratio is way off.
Yeah.
And I
But doesn't
literally.
the board have to approve that travel before they actually do it? Or they just did it?
They do. They
So everybody was like,
approved it.
yay, wow.
I was 4-1. You know, no. Just I said Puerto Rico. It's part of the U.S. It doesn't matter. It is a tropical island in the height of season. And you're staying at a top-notch hotel, and your own association is sending out things saying like, bring your bathing suit. I'm like, what kind of optics does that send? And I'm sorry. I said, and I did say this in the meeting, I said, if I want a vacation in Puerto Rico, I'll pay for it myself. Oh, that did not go.
Of course. Oh, yeah.
Well, I did say that. So
yeah,
I guess I did poke the bear, but that's how it feels. That's how it, what citizens looking at that would think. Like, I can't afford to spend a week in Puerto Rico. Are you taking my tax dollars?
Right.
And doing that?
Right. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's
and
infuriating.
Some of them took their significant others, and rightly so, their significant other paid their own airfare, but God knows what else.
Right.
I don't want anybody thinking about what that they pay for my spouse's dinner.
Mm. So was this the straw that broke the camel's back? Was this the moment that you were like, I need to talk to Governor DeSantis and resign?
So what broke the camel's back was, so in February meeting came around. What the heck happened there? I can't remember. Oh, it was the March meeting. We were leading up to the March meeting, and there was a contract coming up. By the way, they had presented in January. There were 3 contracts. They were not even ready for prime time. Basically, the language, it was all vendor language, which did not protect the district at all. Yeah. Thank God we have a very good new attorney.
Okay.
Who said, hey, you can't even look at these contracts yet. So the drainage contract, which, by the way, they put out an RFP on this sometime last year because it was news to me that it was coming up in January for vote. Apparently they only got 1 bid for what's turning out to be a $400,000 contract. That the problem got created because when they built that museum. Okay.
Oh, wow.
Really?
And I'm still trying to figure out that when we canceled the contract with the contractor that built that building, that we waive liability.
Mm-hmm.
I still haven't got an answer to that.
Interesting.
And now I'm not a commissioner, so I don't know if I could do a public records request, which I probably will. But that, so here comes, I'm like, I'm still saying, you know how many contractors we have in just Northeast Florida for drainage repairs?
Oh my goodness.
I'm
Yeah.
like,
Right.
we only got 1 RFP response.
Right.
That sounded fishy. So then I said, I'm reading the RFP, and on it said, the site plans were given to us by Mr. Weaver, who happens to be the business manager. And I'm like, whose site plans are those? So they said the Matthews Group. Well, the Matthews Group was the one that developed the site way back in
Mhm.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
Talked to the attorney. I said, do we have signed and certified new site plans? Because if you go and fix something and those plans are wrong, all you did was spend $400,000 and you're going to have another problem.
Right. True story.
So comes the meeting was on Thursday, come Monday, there's still no site plan. Nobody's answered the question, do we have the signed, authorized site plans? No answer.
I mean, that's basic.
Basic.
Yeah.
So on Tuesday, when there's still no answer, I said, I'm done, because I am not going to be party to a vote. I was going to vote no, but again, it would have passed. And it did. So another $400,000 being spent on a project where we don't know if this is going to fix the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the sad part about that, and listen to that March tape, which was our attorney could not attend the meeting, so she sent her partner in. And there were 3 votes taken on that. The first vote, which was never explained to the public, was to set aside the RFP that had been initially sent out.
Mm-hmm.
What they did not explain to the public was that the reason for setting aside that RFP was because it violated state law. It was an engineering contract to build, and the firm that they awarded the contract to did not have engineering background.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
This just gets
Just a small,
Okay?
yeah.
So that was the first motion that they didn't explain. All they says, set aside previous RFP.
Okay.
And then they went to the next motion. The next motion was to award the contract. So typically you vote, you make a motion and a second to consider that motion. Then you open it up to public comment.
okay.
What they did is they did all 3 motions and shut down public comment and would not allow public comment until after the vote was taken. They literally
Wow, yeah,
shut
that's
down
very
the public.
unusual.
And there was one gentleman, and you probably know his name very well, Ed Slavin.
Oh,
Sure.
yeah. Gotcha, yeah.
And Ed can be off the chain sometimes, but he's
But he's also very well
correct
researched. Yeah.
and very researched.
Yeah.
And he should have been allowed to speak on every single one of those motions. The attorney that was there, the substitute, said, no, you don't have to take public comment till after the vote. I was embarrassed.
Yeah, that's embarrassing.
And to see board members, including our newest board member, which I had a lot of hope for, not say, no, this is not right. Because in public comment, when somebody gives you, you haven't taken a vote, they may say something that you're not aware of,
Right.
that may influence how that you vote on that.
Mm-hmm.
Not one comment was allowed, and not one single board member asked whether we had signed and certified site plans. Not a question, not a comment. It was, everybody ready to vote? Yep. Everybody voted unanimously. So thank God I wasn't there, because I would have probably had a conniption. But I knew where this was going, and I was tired of beating my head against the wall. This is an unqualified board. Like you said, they don't know what they're doing, and they're not exercising care, and they're using all. So there's 3 personalities that I, in my tenure there, figured out really quickly. The ones that have no clue and say nothing because they're afraid. They don't even know what to ask.
Right.
And they just go along with the majority. The activists
Mm-hmm.
that have a personal agenda and do have future political goals. You probably can, and by the personalities, you can probably know which ones those are.
Mm-hmm.
And those that are in there for feathering their own little nest.
Mm.
And I'm sorry, I don't sell my soul for anything, and definitely not for $400 a month.
Mm.
Yeah.
And for some, you heard about the illegal bonuses.
Right. And those got retracted,
Yeah,
right?
they got
had to pull back
they
on
didn't,
those.
They didn't get paid, and they're
Yeah.
still no. But the funny part is, I don't know if you heard the December vote. The December vote, they weren't paid out, but the board had the audacity forced the attorney at the time to go back to the IG and get another opinion of the opinion.
Whoa, really?
Talk about greedy.
Totally.
They should be they should have hung there. So let me say, I did vote for bonuses in 23 because I want to be transparent. But what they have done is that they commingle those bonuses with staff bonuses. So if you vote no, the way that they write the motion, you write no. If you vote no, you're voting no on the staff.
It's very tricky. Very tricky way
and they
of
do it on
sneaking in
purpose.
bonuses for
And I think the
themselves.
administration is part and parcel because I've been asking the director over and over who came up with bonusing the board. Finally got him to say to me, it was one of the board members. He didn't tell me which one. And I said, you could have created 2 resolutions.
Yeah, easily.
One just for staff and one for board members.
True.
Yeah.
That's what should happen. Yeah.
That would have been the right thing. The right thing to
And
do
they
was
knew
no
that was the
bonus.
right thing. They knew that was the right thing to
Yeah,
do.
exactly.
Yeah.
But they did it intentionally. And to me, nothing's an accident.
Not in politics.
And I'm embarrassed. I was part of that 23 vote, but I'm not embarrassed that the staff got their bonuses because it is staff has come to me and it is a very unfriendly culture to work in. Yeah. There's a lot they don't fire they just make your life a living hell while you're there if you speak up. And hence why we lost one of our PhDs. He finally blew the whistle to the board and the very next day gets a letter saying, oh, you're no longer in charge of the lab.
That's retaliation.
Smells and sounds like retaliation to me.
Right.
So where was I? I think I lost.
The bonuses.
It's embarrassing. $1,000 bonus,
Mm-hmm.
and then they coded it, which was even worse. To get the January register for the 23 bonuses.
Mm-hmm.
I get the January register is holiday reimbursement. And I said, did I buy a Christmas tree?
Yeah.
A really expensive one, which I didn't even
Yeah.
buy for myself. They didn't even code it as a bonus. And the reason for that is because they well knew they were violating state law.
Yeah.
The state dictates our salary. And if anybody says, oh, but we get paid so little. Well, you knew that when you ran for
signed up
office.
for. Yeah.
I knew it was $400 a month.
Right.
First of all, I didn't even know I was getting anything until somebody told me. And it was like $400 a month. I actually did it because I wanted to volunteer. But you knew this going in. And now you really know it. And you still ran again for the office. Mm. And the person that ran again for the office was the one that upped the bonuses to 1,000 in the November meeting. I was embarrassed. I was embarrassed for them. I was embarrassed for myself. Once I lose respect for you, I just can't be associated with it anymore.
Yeah.
And now my mission is to hopefully get Tallahassee to pay attention. Mm-hmm. And that's what programs like yourselves and talking to the media, because I put a motion in December to conduct a forensic audit. Okay. This is after in November, the current chair said, approved another $50,000 for the museum after we had capped it and said it was just a drop in the bucket. So keep that in mind when I say this. So comes December, and after see all these little shenanigans, I said, you know what? I don't feel comfortable. I would like to make a motion to request a forensic audit. I got so much pushback. I didn't even get a second motion, not even a second motion to consider it. The current chair even asked me, what is a forensic audit? And I lost my mind and I said, you know what? This is our number one responsibility. Google it.
Yeah.
That was my comment.
Yeah.
Because I was like, I'm in the twilight zone here.
Yeah.
You are here to protect the citizens' money, not the district. You should be able to go to bed and sleep well that you know the finances, that nothing's happening untoward behind your back. Mm-hmm. And the fact that you couldn't even consider, somebody couldn't have said, okay, I'll second it and let's discuss it and take a vote on it. That was telling.
That speaks volumes. I was just going to say that. It speaks of
And
volumes.
honestly,
It really
if I
does.
were citizen, I'm like, get a petition out and get all these people voted out.
Yeah.
Get them out.
Is that how that would work? Is that the process of doing it?
Right.
Like, what is the process, in your opinion, of cleaning up this board and getting people in
Short
there
of
who care?
voting them out is getting a petition countywide and getting everybody upset and calling their representative, calling the governor's office, calling Commissioner Wilson Simpson's office, who's oversees mosquito control districts, and say, at minimum, please conduct a forensic audit of this district.
Mm-hmm.
And by the way, change the law so that you have at least some level of expertise before these people can run for these seats.
Amen.
Yeah.
None of these people
Yeah.
should be in those seats. They don't even know how to read the law. I'm like, they think that the only chapter that applies to them is 388.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you guess state procurement laws apply to us. We're violating state procurement law, and I can attest to that.
Wow.
We're not bidding projects that we should be bidding.
Yeah.
They call everything an emergency. And half the time that the board doesn't even know what's being done behind the scenes. So get angry, St. Johns County, because it's your money. I know
It's
everybody.
a lot of your money.
I know a lot of people show up to the, and thank God, show up to the county meetings, start showing up to mosquito control. They intentionally don't want you. They only publish the board meetings on their website, which is amcdsjc.org.
I'll put it in comments.
Yeah, they don't know. They know that the majority of the citizens don't know about it. They also only publish it in the St. Augustine Recorder.
Oh, nobody reads that.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah.
So the meetings are the second Thursday of the month at 5 p.m. People need to start showing up and asking these people questions. The stupidity will be known right away because half of them don't read their board book before the meeting. And there was a previous commissioner that we didn't even know where to deliver the board book to because stable housing wasn't part of our routine. So these are the people that are taxing you, that are approving taxes. You need to get involved. And when the next election comes around, please pay attention to those down ballots.
Yeah.
We have airport authority with the mess going on right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mosquito control is not far behind. And honestly, I can't say that, with certainty right now, but I think if a forensic audit were conducted today, I think there would be criminal indictments.
Wow.
It's huge.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Misappropriation of funds,
It sounds like that's a big possibility for sure.
You don't hide stuff. I think one of the questions was why was the resistance to the resolution in the museum? And I know why that resistance was, because in the time that they terminated the contract with the old general contractor and the time that I finally got all the numbers, they knew they had violated state procurement laws.
Mm.
They knew it.
That's a big deal. That's not a small thing. So what's next for you? Talking with the governor?
Hopefully, got the letter out. I have letters out to the IG. I'm a direct but a reasonable person. This is not about destroying mosquito control. It's dangerous. It's mosquitoes can't kill more people than anything else because they do carry disease. It is not about terminating any ability. It's bringing order to government and accountability and transparency. People shouldn't have to guess how their money's being spent or surprised that a museum was built.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
This museum was built, the genesis of the museum, and I know you've been told difference, was our director who goes to China every year to some mosquito conference out there.
Right. Yeah.
Saw a mosquito museum in China.
Yeah.
And brought it back. And,
Yeah.
it was surprising to me because China doesn't really care much about it's people, but apparently they do care.
Or controlling diseases, for that matter. I mean, we saw that recently.
They care a lot about mosquitoes.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So there has to be oversight. We have biohazard level 2 labs, if you didn't know that, at our district. There's a lot of stuff going on there that we have, we work with the WHO, we work with CDC, we work with the Department of Defense.
There's a lot of hands in that pot. There's a lot of.
It would be nice to have some transparency as to what and is being done.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Well, thank you for looking out for everybody in St. Johns County. That's what you did was a tremendous act of. I consider you a hero personally. I think that's amazing. You stood up for something that you believed in against the tide that was pulling you down. So I got to give you a huge applause for doing that. And I know that we are definitely shining a huge light today on this whole situation.
Yeah. Martha Gleason, thank you so much for joining us. And I hope people will continue to follow you and keep up with your progress on this matter. I mean, I think it's important what you're doing.
I'll keep posting.
Please do.
Every board meeting, I'll be looking.
Yeah.
Please do. Yeah.
So,
excellent chat. Thank you very much.
Yeah. I mean, that's all this information coming from somebody who was on the inside herself.
Yes, sir.
Tried to make changes and just got pushed back at every single step of the way. Unbelievable, man.
Disappointing.
It is. It's disappointing and it's frustrating. And this is, we're seeing this too often across too many very important boards in our community. And I'm glad somebody's shining a light on it for sure. Hey, got to tell you about our friends at Old Town Trolley. If you didn't know, St. Johns County residents always tour free when accompanied by a full fare adult paid guest. If you want to take advantage of this incredible offer, it's easy. You just sign up for your hometown pass at hometownpass.com. All one word, obviously. Your hometown pass can also be used at the old jail, Potter's Wax Museum, the oldest store museum experience, and Old Town Trolley's free hometown pass. The best way to entertain visiting friends and family. Check them out today. They are the Green Trains, and we love them. You will too.
And we love Steve Chapman's All-American Air, who've been serving St. Augustine and St. Johns County. They take great pride in providing quality service and installations, in turn gaining a customer for life. All-American Air can match any price, but no one can match their quality and service. Our friends at All-American Air will take exceptional care of your home unit. You've got to ask yourself, when's the last time somebody came over, gave you a good checkup, make sure everything's running efficiently. Give them a call today, 904-461-0070.
And, of course, Bin 39, great place to hang out, especially these days, right in their courtyard. Sip some wine and, hey, take some home with you if you want. If you like what you're drinking, they got over 95 bottles on hand.
Yep, perfect.
For you.
Yep.
To take home and enjoy in the privacy of your own living room. Bin 39. We're very lucky to have these, especially if you're a wine person. We're so lucky to have Bin 39 and these great folks out here that spend their time obsessing over wine so that you can have a great bottle. Bin 39, 4 St. George Street, 904-827-5740. All right, it's horoscope time.
All right.
Cancer, Leo, Virgo on deck today. Let's start with Cancer. Let's channel that exceptional ability of yours to overthink everything and add a sprinkle of outright despair. Aww. The cosmic energies have handed you a double scoop of emotional turbulence today, so let those inner storm clouds thunder away. People will forget your birthday, lose your phone number, and mistake you for a friendly ghost.
Oh.
Floating aimlessly through life.
Casper.
There you go. Embrace your melancholy and try not to scare off anyone who gets too close. Spoiler! It won't work. That's sad. That's a rough one. Leo, step into the spotlight only to find it's flickering and about to blow. You'll highlight your charm and confidence just in time for someone to misplace your last nerve. The universe is rolling its eyes in your general direction. And no matter how much you roar, today's going to feel like one of those nightmares where you show up in class in your underwear. Oh, I hate those.
Yeah.
I've had those.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. Brace yourself for insincere compliments and repetitive realizations of just how little those around you really understand your genius. And finally, Virgo, your day will unfold like a mundane spreadsheet filled with errors and miscalculations that you can't fix, no matter how hard you try. Every detail you meticulously plan will unravel with pieces vanishing like socks in a dryer.
Wow.
Talked about this yesterday. Despite your best efforts to maintain order, chaos will pop up behind you, whispering, peekaboo.
Peekaboo.
Okay. Like trying to stop a sneeze, all your attempts to grasp control will fail spectacularly. By the end, you'll want to delete today from your personal history.
I hate stopping sneezing. It's not a fun one, right?
Yeah.
Ugh. Well, here, I'll give you some good insight here real quick. I know we're running out of time, but we've got the feed mill. They have only 2 markets left before they take a break until the fall. So join them Sunday, March 30th from 12 to 3. There'll be live music by Charlie Fortner, and local vendors will be out there. So, yeah, check that out. It's going to be pretty awesome with the feed mill.
Okay.
Hey, Footloose Frenzy, it's Troy's and Mike's big event. It's happening this Friday, March 28th, Tringali Barn. Live music by Marshall Horn and a special surprise guest I heard in the morning show. Going to be pretty awesome. So check that out. This all benefits Home Against St. John's. Footloose Frenzy.
Yeah, man.
And finally, we have, my screen can keep up here, the Taste of St. Augustine.
All right.
Sunday, April 27th. Save the date. Going to be pretty amazing. All proceeds benefit Epic Behavioral Healthcare. Again, Sunday, April 27th. Go to Epic and check out all the insight on the Taste of St. Augustine.
All right, man. Got to give a shout out at this point, while we still have a little bit of time, to Elace Med Spa Refresh, Rejuvenate, and Glow at Elace. Hydrofacials, dermal fillers, Botox, laser treatments. They do it all in a state-of-the-art facility that you're absolutely going to love. Check them out, elace.com.
And Panache, they're super proud to be partners with Aveda. They share their passion, their ethical, sustainable, and high-fashion vibes, not to mention their quality products, top-notch treatments, and guest care is out of this world. Get your appointment today. Get posh and go to getpanache.com and get with it, boo.
Awesome, man. I think that's it for the show today.
Yes, sir.
Thank you guys for watching. Thank you to former Commissioner Gleason for coming in and really shedding a huge light on some of the darkness that is the Anastasia Mosquito Control Board. We hope you have a great rest of your day. We will see you in the morning.
Bye, everybody.